Ever wondered what makes TV so powerful in Jamaica? Time to find out. Welcome to Global TV Group 358, where television meets innovation. We're not just about shows, we're about shaping society. In Jamaica, TV keeps you informed, connects diverse voices, and supports democracy. Imagine a Jamaica where broadcasters unite, sharing data and collaborating globally. That's us, a unified voice in the TV industry. Did you know TV advertising is still king? It drives website traffic, boosts brand equity, and powers integrated campaigns. Even in an age of digital, TV stands strong, resilient in tough times. Our global TV deck is your treasure trove of insights and data. With charts, graphs, and success stories, it's your guide to impactful TV advertising. Curious to learn more? Visit our website and see how Global TV Group 358 keeps television at the heart of entertainment in Jamaica. Get ready to binge watch the future.
For me again, you can't for me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scallion, we can't buy time. You can't for me again. Can't for me again. You can't for me again. Hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and I resort to crime. You can't for me again.
What fi money in no money, what fi at you in no at you. Covid money miss away in the your little rat you. Use the youth them money waste and bust a man to statue. Say me like a catch you but bigger than a figure you. Take the spit of money gal and say that is not you. One day the man above end up him a got a bet. But it in the kitchen some a fly by like a patu. When singers and DJs and social media's coming at you.
It burn me
300% raise.
It burn me
Garbage pile of the day.
It burn me
Give the teacher them
It
raise.
burn me
I see corruption
It
face.
burn me
Mash down the people them house.
It burn me
Every day appear arms out.
It burn me
Appear money them a thief.
It burn me
And them a sell out the beach.
Can't for me again. You can't for me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scallion, we can't buy time. You can't for me again. Can't for me again. You can't for me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and I resort to crime. You can't for me again.
Come me say big up all the charities and all of the givers. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The 100 the promises, none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth and rap and they down in a whatever. Member bowl money and they lie them tell. Corruption smell and they pocket them swell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell, go mash up people start like thief when them sell.
It burn me
On them treat the market man.
It burn me
On them a treat the cat man.
It burn me
On them treat the peanut man.
It burn me
On them a treat the dirt man.
It burn me
On them a treat the son man.
It burn me
How them a treat policeman.
It burn me
How them a treat soldier man.
It burn me
How them a treat everyone.
Can't for me again. You can't for me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy scallion, we can't buy time. You can't for me again. Can't.
Stevie dim day. We in Global TV says certain kind of friend we no keep. And some informer friend we love like. We in Global, bona fake friend and bona thief. We in Global, we not promote them, we not support them. Look at them on the cheek, come here represent for. We in Global TV, check it.
Good morning and welcome to what I call a full dose of bullshit this morning. What I'm going to bring to you this morning is the road war in Parliament yesterday, and it's not something that my mind can break down easily because bullshit can only be spoken by bullshitters. I won't be able to break down the bull crap of the Prime Minister. So now we have to light, strike 3 matches, tick, drop 2 a dot and keep 1, so the duppy chase, irritate on this morning. Or you have to go bite your thumb or turn up on your big toe like you sit up here, because we're going to listen to the Prime Minister rant and hoot and toot this morning. Because it's too much of it for one person to explain and break down. And not any or everybody can explain Andrew Holness yabbery. Given the Prime Minister is qualified in yabberology, because that's all our Prime Minister do. Yabbing, 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 yab, yab, yab. What a man done. No, sir. Somebody help Andrew Holness thief, and somebody help him dance. For the fact that the Prime Minister is so thief and so dance, I do him one somebody can't thief so. One somebody can't done so. Him have to have help to do it. Andrew have to have help. Next question. Me know Andrew have help with in thiefness and in dunceness. Because one somebody can manage so much. To my community of party and all my family members, platform moderators, membership holders, viewers, subscribers, commenters, and trolls, good morning. Thank you very much for joining Global TV. If you're tapping in from the Greenwich Mean Time, good afternoon and welcome. Sharon Bernard, good morning. Paula Shelley, Rosemary Samuels, Christine Gilbert, JP, Canadian Gal, Lady Bug, Empress Deb. Good morning, good morning. Share the live, please, everyone. Good morning. Julie Miss Mango, good morning and welcome. Thank you. Moses Dwight, Delroy Bree, Kathy Hardball, good morning and welcome. Somebody need to stuff whatever Mayor Ben Nevis enjoys into Andrew Holness's mouth. Somebody need to hold the Prime Minister and stuff something into his gob, because all this your Prime Minister get for talk gibberish and expect people to believe it. I don't understand. You see, because the Prime Minister have a whole heap of nonsense to talk, we're going to let the Prime Minister get on with what he made in Parliament yesterday as his second statement, because the Prime Minister was like he was making a budget presentation yesterday. The Prime Minister help in a COVID, he helping at this. Anybody never want help in a COVID and no can go listen? Anybody never want help in a COVID? At them, no get it. If you listen to Andrew Holness yesterday, you wouldn't think to say a budget the wicked man a read. But this was kind of one of his big ploy in Parliament to present to the nation how bright and shine a diamond he is. Andrew Holness blame everybody for the roadways of Jamaica other than his failure. You just couldn't make it up. Even if you're writing a Shakespearean novel, you wouldn't think about writing that exciting piece of gibberish in a novel, Prime Minister. But you spoke it in our Parliament, did you not? This morning. No, sir. This Prime Minister sees not to create judgment and calamity. Let's start listening, because the Prime Minister have a lot to say, Too much of it, though, Prime Minister, isn't it? Dear old Babs, look at her.
Mr. Speaker, most honorable Prime Minister wishes to make a second statement. Please invite him to do so.
Prime Minister. Mike.
Jairus morning. Colin morning.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to provide an update to this Honorable House and nation on the government of Jamaica's ongoing effort to
Debbie Jervis, morning, welcome. How you do?
address the severe challenges faced by our road network due to heavy rains and adverse weather conditions of 2024. These weather events caused widespread damage to our infrastructure, disrupting critical roadways that are vital for the daily activities and economic well-being of our citizens. Mr. Speaker, before I get into the updates, I think it is important that the country appreciates that the state of the roads is not, Mr. Speaker, it's not the fault of government. Not the fault of government.
Easy jerk.
Mr. Speaker, that sort of a comment might very well be true. But toll free by 2003. The reality is that our
Shopify's point of sale system helps you sell at every stage of your business. Need a fast and secure
legacy infrastructure was never designed to withstand what we are seeing today in terms of climate change. I want to repeat that point. Our legacy infrastructure was never designed to withstand what we are seeing today in terms of climate change. This is not a debatable point. The leader of opposition business stood up and essentially supported the point. The rainfall that we are seeing today in terms of climate change is significant. The rainfall that we experienced last year,
Kathy Reed, morning.
in particular late last year, was highly unusual and off the charts in terms of the impact on infrastructure. So we are facing two challenges at the same time in terms of our infrastructure. Old and aging infrastructure that was not properly maintained over the last 30 years of underinvestment and worsening, and then, Mr. Speaker, the worsening effects of climate change, destroying that infrastructure at an unprecedented rate. Mr. Speaker, those 2 points need to be considered in the conversation about the state of our roads. When we were building roads at a high pace, Mr. Speaker, in the 50s and 60s and late 70s, when our economy collapsed in the 70s, faced great difficulty in the 80s, these roads were not maintained to the state where they could withstand the current climate crises that we now have. So, Mr. Speaker, we have roads that were built 30, 40 years ago, not properly maintained. The surface has deteriorated. The commuting public number of persons using our roadways has increased. The number of motor vehicles would have increased. The weight of the vehicles that are on our roads would have increased. And now, Mr. Speaker, we have unusual and intense weather events damaging our aged infrastructure. That is a problem, Mr. Speaker, that is not only facing Jamaica, but almost all countries in the region. And I wanted to just point out so that the country can see that when we say weather and climate is impacting infrastructure, we get a better understanding of it. The graph being displayed here is what is called a heat map. It shows the intensity, Mr. Speaker. It would be an ominous sign because, Mr. Speaker,
wanna remember when Lord Jesus. Boy, help. Wanna remember when burial day come, all of a sudden, Andrew Holness turn Roy Forrester. Wanna know say the whole Roy Forresterism all over again. Continue, Prime Minister, it's sweet way. Lord Jesus. No, sir. Roy Forresterism.
what that shows is drought. 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 What that shows is drought. What that shows, Mr. Speaker, is drought. So in 2021, it shows you the intensity of the rainfall in November 2021 rain. If you go to November 2022, slide 2022, it would show Mr. Speaker, I really wanted to make this point, so I'm hoping that the person's operating. Okay, there you go. So it shows you the weather changing in 2022. Look at the weather again in 2023. You notice the heat map, not so much drought.
This is certainly a Roy Forrester.
Oh Lord, it's looking really nice now. Looking really good now. And look at 2024. Oh my. So you can see, Mr. Speaker, the change.
Hey, a master of optics, you know. Andrew go get all them regalias together that he thinks support his bullshit. Andrew, I'm a meteorologist. I don't know anyway. Grand Prime Minister, continue. Continue. The more you talk, the more bullshit you get in. Continue.
In the weather. So it's very important that the public appreciates the impact of weather on infrastructure. And this is the average rainfall using November for the last 4 years. And you can see how that average has changed. So November rainfall 2024 was quite unusual right across the island. It gave us a good shower of rain.
And we still know how water in a pipe.
So the graph now being displayed shows rainfall island-wide in November 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024. It is obvious that 2024 is a complete outlier.
Year-end customer appreciation sale. Our store is offering an absolutely amazing robot.
The next graph shows the November 2023 and November 2024 rainfall by parish compared with the 30-year average. The 30-year average. Again, it is clear that what we experienced in November 2024 was off the charts. Jamaica is not the only country experiencing these challenges. Mr.
The easy jerk world, you see how far Andrew willing to take it, eh? You see how far Andrew willing to take it? Continue, Prime Minister. Go and dig your hole. Prime Minister, go and dig your hole this morning.
Mr. Speaker, I would like to read into the record of Parliament the experience of Costa Rica from a news report dated the 22nd of November 2024. The recent heavy rains in Costa Rica have caused significant damage to the country's already deteriorating road network. According to the National Roads Council,
it's all right for Costa Rica, Jamaicans, so it's all right for no. Me no wanna complain for you know, said the Prime Minister. If the people of Costa Rica cannot go through it, what says no? Dig your hole, Prime Minister. Dig Elbow grease, Prime Minister. Dig deeper.
Many national roads have been affected by issues including landslides, flooding, and severe infrastructure damage. Key problems reported including washed out soil, cracked asphalt, and collapsed slopes. This is exactly what has happened in Jamaica. Authorities warn that the number...
So what the Prime Minister is saying, God give us our fair share. Costa Rica get the same thing. Jamaica get the same thing. One I complain about. This is an act of God, said the Prime Minister. Dig, Prime Minister, dig. Dig, man.
Of affected roads could increase as assessment continues. Engineering experts caution that even with the recent break in rainfall, saturated soil may lead to further landslides and flooding, exacerbating the crisis. This is exactly what happened, particularly in Portland and East Rural and West Rural St. Andrew, and parts of St. Mary as well. The heavy rains have underscored Costa Rica's ongoing challenges with outdated infrastructure and inadequate maintenance.
Bear in mind, Prime Minister, we're talking about Jamaica. Jamaica, not Costa Rica. Jamaica, Prime Minister. Keep it to Jamaica, no?
Successive governments have failed to prioritize infrastructure investment, leaving the country's roads vulnerable to extreme weather events. Current damage highlights the long-standing neglect of road networks, which is crucial for Costa Rica's economy and public safety. I just thought I would read this out aloud so that the conversation that is happening about roads, that Jamaicans understand and place themselves in the global context. In fact, I listened to Prime Minister Keir Starmer making almost the parallel points that I have been making about the impact of climate on their roads, appealing to his councils to fix his roads, and seeing reports of protests in the UK.
Jesus Christ this morning, Tappy. Whoa, murder, help you, Tappy Prime Minister. Prime Minister, this is so laughable. Prime Minister, this is laughable. I mean, this is where the Shakespearean novel start moving away from playwright Prime Minister into utopianism. Is it not, Prime Minister? You're moving away from a playwright to utopianism. Prime Minister, stop it. Prime Minister, stop it. Me no say, little bit of pothole not that Britain. Me no say rickety ticky not that Britain, but Prime Minister, stop it this morning. Me know you hold your dig, you know. Me know you hold your dig, but you must know how far you want to go. Prime Minister, stretch elastic can bust. You're stretching it a bit too far, Prime Minister. This is a stretch way, way too far. Bad to bad, Prime Minister, I am a lib. Talk truth. Prime Minister, I am a lib. That's a stretch too far, Prime Minister. Way. Go back to the script writing and come out of the utopianism.
In the United Kingdom. So I make the point here, not to excuse ourselves as government. That's not what this is about. No. Because we take responsibility by our actions.
Of doing nothing.
We don't only say we are going to fix it. We make the budgetary allocation to fix it. We manage the economy in such a way that we are able to execute the responsibility.
Ramp up the pressure, you know.
That's what it means to take responsibility. Not to make an empty promise that Jamaica will be pothole free by 2003. No, that's not how we do it.
Okay. Tell them how you do it, bro, God.
So, Mr. Speaker,
Bro Devil, tell
the
them.
reality is that the effects of climate change are creating havoc with infrastructure in several countries. This is not a unique problem to Jamaica.
Okay.
What makes matters worse in Jamaica is that our situation is compounded by 30 years of neglect and underinvestment in our infrastructure, including our roads. And if you were to look at when this neglect was most intense,
PNP, I know.
when was this neglect of our roads most intense?
The 18 year I'm going to talk about.
I don't need to answer that question. I think every Jamaican knows that when that side is in power, when that side is running the economy, there is no revenues to maintain the roads.
Go on, man.
So the destruction of the roads, Mr. Speaker, is very well the PNP fault.
Dig, man, dig. Hey, dig.
If they were maintaining the roads from all of those years coming, we wouldn't be in this position. So, Mr. Speaker.
Whoa, Jesus. He move on for God now and turn on to PNP. Lord, me don't know how to don't find a man you're funny this man, you know. Me know say it a rattle some amount of feathers. But for me, this is absolute fun. This is next. Murder! This is next to the type of fun that I'm expecting. I'm expecting Trump to provide in the next 4 years. A load of bullshit. This is what I'm expecting for the next 4 years. Rather than a load of bomb dropping, a load of comical bullshit is what. Jesus. No, sir. When I know God, a PNP. Continue the Prime Minister. You're getting on very well. You are the good Prime Minister. You keep digging. Jesus have mercy this morning.
I will now provide an update on various road programs, which shows, Mr. Speaker, that unlike that side,
House Leader.
And I'm going to show you what we are doing.
Mr. Speaker, I ask that the Prime Minister be given enough time to complete his presentation.
The question is that the Prime Minister be given enough time to complete his presentation. Those in favor? Those against? Ayes have it. Mr. Prime Minister, you may continue, sir. Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is important that the point be made that if roads are not maintained routinely, their surfaces will deteriorate, and that will cause potholes.
Andrew Holness, you must know what to say when you're open your mouth. You blame God. All right, me don't know what God has got to do about you. Andrew Holness, you said 18 years at the PNP, them never maintain the road. Which I can tell you is a lie, Prime Minister. Them never do an awful lot, but they kept it to a degree, Prime Minister, where the piece of road from Crane Roundabout to Bridgefoot Black River, where my car pan fly green for fix the other day. It has never in my lifetime, Prime Minister, fell into this rickety-tickety disrepair. Never. It is under your government, Prime Minister, that a year after you took government, you repeal the road maintenance fund. It is your government, Prime Minister, that has not maintained or resurfaced the roads for 9 years to the point where they fell into absolute, disastrous, life-threatening disrepair, Prime Minister. This is a stretch too far. When is this Prime Minister going to take any responsibility? Because from the ban rain and fall, you know. Since Gilbert, Jamaica has many hurricane and tropical storm, you know. Since Gilbert, Jamaica have many rainfall and many flood, you know. Prime Minister, me go to June 86 flood. Where water catch me up on my waist in my community, Prime Minister, and where a galang you know. Never galang then. Prime Minister, this is absolutely disgraceful to see how you run from the foot of Calvary Cross all the way to PMP headquarters, finding everybody to... When are you going to blame the people of Jamaica for driving and walking and mashing up your road, Prime Minister? Because we alone, you're not blaming yet, you know. Are we alone? You're not fine. No reason for blame yet. When are you going to bring us in and tell we say we can't tie and we foot bottom, Prime Minister, mash up your road them, because it has nothing to do with your mismanagement of the country's fund, resources, department, and everything where you walk and hold on pan. But we know so you become a billionaire, Prime Minister. We are sure of that. To the point where you cannot justify what in the bag. Continue dig your grave. Because you do well, you know. You're doing fine. Dig, Prime Minister, dig. Dig, baby, dig. Man, you go buck up Pan Ben Nevis and the whole heap of man down there. You just go and dig. This man is mad.
So there is a nexus between the ability of a government to generate the revenues to fix the roads. So the state of the roads, Mr. Speaker, is inextricably linked to the state of the economy. There is somehow a thinking that we can fix roads without fixing the economy, without the revenues from the economy.
Why the Prime Minister?
The history has shown, and anyone who wants to go and study it, it will show that the only government that has been able to raise the revenues to fix the roads without borrowing is this government. I throw the challenge.
The without borrowing Prime Minister is another lie, because Marlon Morgan, Prime Minister, the JLP surrogate, admitted on Colin Bell's program the other night that you have borrowed. What he claimed is that you have borrowed more responsible. So Tapua can't talk, so you're not borrowing, sir. You're going to election and you still won't admit the truth, but you want a third term. How you work out that the bull suddenly Prime Minister, don't ask me, but you manage to try to convince yourself, because you cannot convince the Jamaica people, Prime Minister. You're even finding it hard to convince the JLP base. So in Jamaica you talk to, you're speaking to the JLP base, who are weighing up their options. Do I continue with the thief, or do I abstain, or do I go the other way? That's what is at hand, Prime Minister.
Rebut it. Rebut it. So
Marcia Stewart, how are you?
If they want to rebut it, they can, but come with the facts. So, Mr. Speaker, the government acted decisively in December 2024 to mitigate the damage and begin the restoration of our road network. It is important to note that the heavy rainfall only subsided in early December, which delayed any repairs until after that time. Despite this, the government launched a comprehensive restoration strategy that balances both immediate relief and long-term solutions to enhance the resilience of our infrastructure. To address the urgent needs, the government allocated $6.5 billion, which includes $5 billion for road surface repairs and $1.5 billion for a constituency-based mitigation program launched in late 2024. The first phase of the mitigation program, which coincided with the Christmas season, focused on essential tasks such as cleaning drains, removing debris, and maintaining road verges. As we moved into 2025, the second phase began focusing on patching work across all 63 constituencies. And I'm certain, Mr. Speaker, that in all constituencies, there is a flurry of work being done to patch damaged roads, both local roads, community roads, and main roads. And we are going to continue this program right throughout the budget season and after, so that we restore all our roads to a reasonable driving surface.
5 minutes ago, she'd never play piano.
Now, this phase is expected to continue until the end of March 2025. Currently, the mitigation program is 55% complete, and I am confident that we will meet our targets within the planned time frame, providing much needed relief to our citizens. The $5 billion road surface repair program aims to address surface damage on the most severely affected roads and involves two components under the broader REACH program, as we have described it. And these components are as follows. We have a $3 billion program, and that is split between the NWA being the entity directing that expenditure, and another $1.5 billion, which is directed at constituencies. The thinking is that the MPs should be able to identify those roads that are causing pain points within communities. And the NWA will focus on the roads that...
It's not a policy-driven thing, you know, it's just a thinking. What do you think? Do you think we should steal the money? Or do you think we should throw a bit of mall in this pothole, roll it, and sprinkle a little gas oil on it? It's not a policy, it's a thinking.
That are causing pain points, particularly on major roads, roads connecting towns and communities. Then, Mr. Speaker, we announced a $2 billion emergency repair program, and that is entirely driven by the NWA, and that is focused on critical road corridors. And that program has just started. So, Mr. Speaker, there are essentially 3 programs operating to patch and repair roads. And even though we describe it as pothole repairs, oftentimes, Mr. Speaker, what happens is significant resheeting of road surfaces. So it's not fair to describe it only as pothole patching. They have been doing significant resheeting.
Well, it might switch him out, you know, it might make we know, say, because him say across the country, Jamaica is not happy with the patching. The patching now do it for him. So this is why I tell the people them now, we're not just patching. We say we are patching, but it's not fair to call it patching, because we actually resheet certain road. Go on, man, go on.
So let's be clear. The government is responsible for our roads. This government is not shirking responsibility. But it is one thing to talk about responsibility.
That's a lie. You have shirk responsibility, 1, by repealing the road maintenance grant. 2, you have not done road maintenance across the country for the 9 years you're leading? 3, Prime Minister, there's several broken down bridges across the country. Even Troy Bridge from 2021. And you and Tiefin Dalrymple have not done anything. So don't talk about, shirk your responsibility. That was a lie. I mean, if I point out to you, said that was a lie. Go on.
It's another thing to be able to act on that responsibility. And that is what this government has over any other government. Now, I do take the criticism about the speed of the response. And I must tell you, Mr. Speaker, I am not satisfied that
stretching will not make you flexible and it will not eliminate your recurring injuries. Stretching will relax your muscles.
We are moving as fast as we could. The public bureaucracy is hard to maneuver. But I assure you, Mr. Speaker, that we have put in place the necessary measures and the programs are now picking up pace and they are accelerating. And we will continue to manage them. Mr. Speaker, I can tell you that the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is that I call the head of the NWA. And I ask him, give me a report. And then I call my minister, Minister Morgan, and I said, Minister Morgan, go out on the road and see what is happening. So that the reports that I get, I match them against actual observations. Because we take it very seriously. There are many issues with the patching of the roads, Mr. Speaker, which we are not satisfied with, but we're going to correct them, and I'm certain that persons would be seeing improvements. We started patching at nights. There is always a concern about patching and leaving the debris on the roadside. If that comes up, any citizens see that, please get in touch with us. That must not happen.
You can clear up rubbish all now.
Mr. Speaker, there are concerns that have been raised regarding the patching, that the contractors patch a piece and then there's a little pothole beside it, they leave that little pothole and they've gone to another piece. We have interrogated that. Of course, the claim is that they are being economical. They don't want to focus on the small potholes. They want to focus on the big ones because...
No, you don't give them enough resources, Andrew.
But we have said to them, look, patch the road properly. A small pothole left will become a big one. So just patch it now.
Maybe if we don't leave the kickback money, so the kickback money can go into the patching of the road, we can actually get the pothole them to fix more than the money going to go off into kickbacks. Then on just drop like a mall in there and sprinkle it with gas oil, and we're back to square one 2 weeks after.
So we have changed the modus operandi of those contractors. Mr. Speaker, recognizing the additional strain on our roads, as I said, the emergency $2 billion was allocated to deal with road corridors. 14 grade 1 contractors have been mobilized for this effort under the emergency procurement rules, and progress has been made in such areas as Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Anne, St. Thomas, St. Anne, and Mr. Speaker, the work continues apace. Mr. Speaker, with these immediate measures, we are focused on addressing the most pressing needs. The government remains committed to a long-term vision for sustainable infrastructure development. We fully understand the importance of creating a road network that is durable and resilient.
In 9 months? In 9 months? You think you can achieve that by September when you have not even started it? Huh?
Capable of withstanding future challenges, protecting our communities, and supporting economic growth while improving the quality of life for all Jamaicans. To achieve this vision, we commenced construction under the Spark project in December 2024 as promised. This ambitious initiative aims to modernize and strengthen our roadways, ensuring that they are less susceptible to weather events and resilient to future shocks. The main contractor has already been mobilized to undertake works island-wide with the objective of upgrading, not just repairing, but upgrading our road network to meet the demands currently and in the future. I fully acknowledge, Mr. Speaker, the frustration many Jamaicans are experiencing due to the difficult road conditions. To those affected, I assure you that your concerns have been heard. We are committed to addressing these challenges with urgency and determination through both immediate actions and comprehensive long-term planning. Initiatives like Spark reflect our shared commitment to not only repairing the damage, but also building a stronger, more resilient road network for future generations. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the civil servants and contractors who have worked tirelessly, even during the festive season, to ensure the success of these efforts. Their dedication has been instrumental to the progress thus far. And I look forward to their continued hard and efficient working to ensure that these programs are completed on time and on budget. Mr. Speaker, one of the things that we pick up when we go around dealing with the roads is that the public sees the patching program as the immediate response. And there are some persons who would say, well, the patching is of no value. What we want to see is the total upgrading and rehabilitation of the road. And I would just say to the public that the government is doing both things. And I want to again repeat it, put it into context. We are patching the roads, we are making surface.
Give me 2 minutes of your time, and I'm going to show you how you could be retired within 2 years through building some.
The road surface drivable, and that is our $6.5 billion allocation in the budget. We have another program called the Spark program, and that program is designed to rehabilitate, upgrade, and improve the entirety of the road, which sometimes includes putting water pipes, drainage, and some amount of intersection improvement, road furniture where necessary, and support civil infrastructure, retaining walls, etc. So the concern of the public is well noted, and it is being addressed. So there are two streams of effort. The first stream of effort is to get the road surfaces back to driving condition after this extreme weather event. And the second stream of effort is to improve roads to a very high standard and extend their useful life. In fact, Mr. Speaker, the target is that we will probably have between 600 and 660 roads that will be improved island-wide under the Spark program. That, Mr. Speaker, will have a massive impact. Mr. Speaker, I want to turn now to another stream of effort in terms of the government's road improvement strategy. I wish to take this opportunity to update the House on the special CAPEX program. A few years ago, in 2022, the government introduced a comprehensive urban transportation initiative aimed at alleviating traffic congestion in urban centers by addressing road capacity and enhancing access. 6 key projects were identified for development, including Grange Lane, Brayton Helshaw Main Road, East Kings House Lady Musgrave Road, Arthur Wint Drive, the new Portmore access from Mandela Highway, and the widening of the Sandy Gully Bridge. This initiative is designed to improve urban infrastructure in Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Catherine, benefiting approximately 1.2 million Jamaicans. The program covers extensive upgrades to roads, drainage, water, sewage system, traffic management, and safety measures, while at the same time making provisions for broadband connectivity. And I want to spend a little bit of time on the broadband connectivity. There's a lot of discussion about Jamaica Eye and the rapid deployment of cameras. The rapid deployment of cameras depends on having
my people don't be annoyed. May have to listen to Andrew and have it on record. Andrew control PBCJ. He may go take it down near to election. Me not able. Me have to have it on record. Yes, sir.
Broadband internet access easily available. And so, Mr. Speaker, it's not that the government doesn't want to spend on the cameras, but we first have to spend on putting in this backbone. And so every road that we're doing now, we are putting in the backbone so that we can rapidly expand the coverage of the cameras. That we
put in backbone.
So, Mr. Speaker, all the roads that we're going to be doing under this will have 3 other components other than just the road. They will have sewage. They will have water improvements, and they will have provisions for broadband. So when we are doing these roads, we consider them.
Even if we are talked to, you know, so we don't believe you. Because a whole heap of things you promised to we, what we never get in a 9 years, what we can't get in a 9 months, and you come back with more and more excellent promise again. If you never deliver the 100-day promise, tell me what can you deliver in 9 months that you have not delivered in 9 years. You know, so you're confused. And Sophia Langmore sit down there and won't drag you into some private clinic and have you properly sorted.
Not just roads, we consider them to be utility corridors. There's a 4th component which I would want to highlight. All of these roads will have some component of streetscaping.
What that mean?
You know, recently I saw a news report that Holland Bamboo in St. Elizabeth, a part of it was destroyed by fire, as it usually happens ever so often. But Holland Bamboo is probably one of the most beautiful streetscapes you can traverse in Jamaica. I mean, there are others. You have some lovely streetscapes going down the highways, seeing the sea and so forth. On the new South Coast Road Improvement Project, lovely streetscapes. But when we build our new roads, Mr. Speaker, we don't take enough time to look at the soft infrastructure, putting in the trees to control the heat, putting in flowers for beautification, proper sidewalk, along with access, places for murals and paintings, just things that break the concrete and make the drive more appealing. So for these roads,
it's not about
particularly
safety, it's about appealing.
The ones that we're going to be doing
I see.
In Kingston, the East Kings House Road, Lady Musgrave, and Arthur Wint, I have insisted, Mr. Speaker, that there is significant streetscaping to the point where we have already started to grow the trees that are going to be planted there. We have acquired a machine that will be able to not just, we won't be cutting down any trees that are already there. We will be able to take up the trees whole and transplant them somewhere. And if they can be brought back, then we will bring them back there. So we are making the provisions to ensure that these roadways are beautiful, that people can appreciate and feel the value of the infrastructure, not just from the convenience of driving, but from the peace of mind that you get from being in a space that takes into
tangible benefit,
the greenery and the environment. So, Mr. Speaker, the country should be aware that this project is well underway. Now, 3 of these 6 projects were specifically designated for Portmore, acknowledging its transition to a parish.
We've got passion, we've got determination. And if we set our sights on something, you better believe it's happening.
And the numerous development projects anticipated in the future. The first of these, the Grange Lane Dualization Project. The Grange Lane Dualization Project. You notice everybody quiet now? Because, you know why they're quiet, Mr. Speaker? Because this government is building roads. This government is fixing roads, something that they could not do. So let's be clear.
Look here, sir. Decide if you want to confuse me or if you want to confuse me. Decide which one. Do you want to confuse me or do you want to confuse me? Because never in my lifetime any other leader in Jamaica have to declare Jamaica roadway as a national emergency. We've always have rain, drought, hurricane. Let me know if you want to confuse me or if you want to confuse me, because it can be that you are repair a road and you declare them broke down. And it can be that as somebody else, cause if you broke down in a 9 years, when you have it for 9 years and not do nothing panic, how is it somebody else's fault that you have to declare it a national emergency because the road, the state of the roadway is a killer of Jamaicans? Me don't understand you.
Grange Lane is 60% complete. 60% complete. This is not talk, not just talking. 60% complete. Work started 60% complete. Upon its completion, work will shift to the Brayton Road and sections of the Helsha Main Road Dualization Project, which is slated to begin in the 4th quarter of the 2024-2025 fiscal year. So work will begin this year on another road, major road, to alleviate traffic and congestion in Portmore. Moreover, Mr. Speaker, the Arthur Wint Drive Dualization Project has been expanded to include the stretch from Arthur Wint Drive through Tom Redcombe to Camp Road, alongside the installation of sewage systems and additional water lines. This expansion will greatly benefit residents, businesses, and developers in that area. The Arthur Wint Drive project is set to commence in the upcoming fiscal year, along with the remaining CapEx projects such as the Sandy Gully Bridge upgrades and the new Portmore entrance development, both of which are currently undergoing investment appraisal. Mr. Speaker, I recognize that the simultaneous commencement of several large-scale projects may raise concerns. However, I assure you and the people of Jamaica that every effort will be made to carry out these projects with minimal disruption to daily life. The Special CapEx program is a testament to the government of Jamaica's commitment to modernizing our infrastructure, fostering future development, and enhancing the quality of life for all Jamaicans. Mr. Speaker, I also wanted to provide an update on our highway projects. You see how much roads we're doing? You asked what we did in 9 years? Oh, Lord. What, Mr. Speaker?
Oh, I can answer that. What the Prime Minister has done in 9 years is a lot of pilfering and raiding through the Jamaican public purse, him and his cabinet and his cronies. Hence, we have $3 trillion missing. Not outstanding, not unaccounted for, missing, stolen. Them thief it. Oi, ball out. Oi, them thief with money, ball out. Yes, I thief it. That's why the Prime Minister have nothing to show when can do in our country for 9 years, because his job was about stealing, city pussing, puss, Prime Minister, Mayor, drop the bag. This Prime Minister is a criminal, a liar, and a thief, a fraudster, a scammer, an embezzler, a racketeering organization run by the Prime Minister, his mother, his father, his son, his constituents, his sister, you name it. The Prime Minister have a racketeering ring running around our public finances. This man's a criminal.
Let them stand up and say what they did in their 18 and a half years and their 4 years. They can't compare. I know you don't like it when I speak. I know it's a frustration to you when we speak and show the facts.
I can't quite believe I'm giving this away for free. This thing right here has made over $100 million in sales for me and my...
Mr. Speaker, you know, the spin ball is the most dangerous ball, you know. The spin ball, most dangerous. So, Mr. Speaker, as a reminder, the Montego Bay Perimeter Road project is a US $274 million design, build, construct contract with China Harbor Engineering Company. The project scope includes design and construction of the Montego Bay Bypass Road, 15.1 kilometers of roadway, the Barnett Street, West Green Avenue Road rehabilitation and expansion works, the design and construction of the Long Hill Bypass to reduce traffic congestion, and that is 10.5 kilometers of roadway, and a comprehensive drainage study of the Montego Bay Bypass area. Mr. Speaker, the Long Hill Bypass was originally designed as 2 lanes to be later expanded to 4 lanes. However, the government has decided to expand to 4 lanes now for significant cost savings and the benefits it will afford residents of St. James and indeed Westmoreland. I am pleased to report that the project is progressing well. The Montego River Bridge is 90% completed. I toured the bridge and it is a fantastic piece of infrastructure. It's the largest bridge in Jamaica. Fantastic piece of infrastructure. And the overall project, Mr. Speaker, is 55% complete. The project is scheduled to be completed in May 2026. Mr. Speaker, the South St. Elizabeth Extension Project intends to expand the Southern Coastal Highway from Williamsfield in Manchester along the south coast towards Hodges in St. Elizabeth, which is in the vicinity of the border of Westmoreland. The project includes bypass for major towns such as Junction, Southfield, and Black River. The project has gone through the PIAB process, that's the Public Investment Appraisal process, and the source of funding is being identified. We expect to tender this project during the 2025-2026 financial year. That's a major project, Mr. Speaker, that is going to extend the Williamsfield Highway all the way around to the border of St. Elizabeth and Westmoreland.
Prime Minister, that's not going to happen. You have 9 months left constitutionally. It's not going to happen. All right? So, we know that. We just make you know, sir. We know that.
Mr. Speaker, the North Coast Highway PPP project will see the expansion of the North Coast Highway from 2 to 4 lanes from Miami Bay to St. James. The government engaged the International Financial Corporation, the IFC, for transaction advisory services. During that process, legal and technical due diligence and social assessments were conducted. The concept design has been developed and the project is being prepared for tender in 2025-2026 financial year. This project aims to enhance transportation infrastructure, stimulate economic growth, and promote sustainable development along the North Coast. And I want to spend a little bit of time on this, Mr. Speaker. Recently, we saw several concerts and entertainment events held in that general region of Miami Bay, and it created significant congestion, real problems with traffic and congestion. We have this project here, Mr. Speaker, which will expand that roadway to the border of St. James to 4 lanes. It will improve traffic flow, but we bear in mind, Mr. Speaker, that along that roadway is an emerging urban center. And so the road is being designed with that in mind. So it will not necessarily be a highway, but it will be a main boulevard. But it will be designed in some places with grade separated interchanges and overpass so that there is not much interference with egress and entry onto the road. So that will give significant relief to the commuting public, and we will start that project. The intention is to begin that project in the next financial year. We're also looking to develop, Mr. Speaker, the St. Anne's Bay project, which is the St. Anne's Bay bypass. And this will be an extension to the North-South Highway from Miami Bay, traversing westward and parallel to the North Coast Highway through sections of St. Anne and terminate in the vicinity of Discovery Bay. The expansion will be a 30-kilometer 4-lane highway. The concept has been developed and the source of funding is being identified. So on that corridor, you will have a main boulevard which will carry traffic from the exit of the current North-South Highway in the Miami Bay vicinity all along. So that will be a...
If you've been wearing glasses more than 5 years, stop scrolling. We're looking for people in the UK aged between 4...
A very well-developed corridor. But we will...
The rough and tumble part soon come up, but on a have to understand the build-up to the rough and tumble.
Also, extend the current North-South Highway with a parallel highway. And so persons heading to St. James would not have to drive through Miami Bay. They could go straight on the highway and head into Montego Bay, because the intention is to develop that corridor into the new urban center. And it is not that the government is doing it in a sense, Mr. Speaker. It is that it has its own energy, and persons have already started to develop along the corridor. And so we bear that in mind as we develop the road. That is going to be the boulevard through a main urban center. So, Mr. Speaker, yes, there are challenges with roads. And I hope that today I've been able to put those challenges into the proper context and perspective. We take responsibility for the roads of Jamaica.
After you blame
we have
everybody.
to do that by ensuring that we have the financing to do it, that we follow the regulatory and compliance requirements to do it, and that we do it efficiently and equitably for the people of Jamaica. Balancing all of those are not simple tasks, but this government has done it very well with the challenges of climate and other shocks for which we have no control over. But by building resilience in our government, by ensuring that we manage the economy well, that we can set aside buffers in our budget, that for the first time we have a disaster fund, that we have for the first time a catastrophe bond. Jamaica is the first to do that in this region. To manage the capital budget in such a way, Mr. Speaker, that we convert the capital budget into real infrastructure. So that when the unexpected happens, we don't have to turn to anyone and say, all right, we have to borrow. Or if we borrow, it is on really good terms. That we can absorb the punches. And Mr. Speaker, that is what this administration is about. All that we have tried to do, Mr. Speaker, is to attain economic independence.
All right, I'm going to
stand up on our own and pay our way through the world.
At accepting responsibility, but in reality, at accepting responsibility
in the region. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I thank members for their indulgence.
Opposition leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Turn the mic on.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister has delivered a speech akin to a budget speech. Many of the things he included in his speech today are things that were in his budget speech last year, March. And we've heard it several times since. But you know, what that speech that the Prime Minister just made reflects is really a pretense at accepting responsibility, but in reality, seeking to dodge responsibility.
I bought this shop latest model LiDAR robotic vacuum cleaner because I don't like cleaning.
Climate change. To blame the appalling state of the road network in Jamaica today on climate change is just totally disingenuous. The reality is that there has been an absence of any proper road maintenance policy for years. And you have been in office for 9 years, so you have superintended 9 years of neglect over the maintenance of Jamaica's road network, for which the people are holding you accountable now. And that's just the reality of it. There used to be a road maintenance fund, which was established and funded to support road maintenance programs. That was put to an end under the JLP government to help to finance some of the loans that were taken from China, as it was in that case, to finance some of the major road projects. Jamaica's had decades of major road projects, but very little road maintenance. And what bothers me about your approach is that it's going to continue into the future if you are allowed to continue in government. There will be inadequate maintenance as a permanent feature of your government's regime, because you're continuing to be fixated on major road projects, because no doubt the benefits that flow, that can be the collateral benefits that flow from those major road projects, of which we are all aware. But the road maintenance, which is what the people want to see, the interior roads, the community roads, even the scheme roads, which you said the government is not responsible for. The government fixes the entire parameters of how roads are addressed in the country. The decision whether to take over or leave roads without any proper superintendent is a government decision. You can't shirk responsibility for scheme roads because you say developers developed it and it was never handed over. These are schemes which have been in this situation for year after year after year with no proper arrangement for dealing with the fixing of the roads in those schemes. So you said something about when you start to shout, you know, the stone lick. Well, apparently it doesn't lick. That's why you're shouting at me now. Yeah. So Mr. Speaker.
Hold for me, please. Let us conduct ourselves in an honorable way. You may continue.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker.
Wait, man. No, there's a line.
This side there that climate change caused the bad roads in Jamaica. Mash down that lie. It has nothing to do with it. We have had heavy rain from time to time in Jamaica for years. Climate change is a reality and it's coming at us. But to blame the poor state of the road network of the country on climate change is a farce. And the people of Jamaica don't believe it.
Leader.
They're holding you accountable
Opposition
for it.
leader.
And for you to try and pretend that it's a PNP responsible for it. When
Opposition
you've been in government
leader.
for 9 years. It just does not wash.
Member, you rise on a point of order or?
What's the point? What's the point?
What are you rising on?
What's the point of order? What is the point of order?
There's no such thing as a point of time.
What's up, Mr. Speaker?
What is the point of order?
The member is misleading the House as it relates to housing scheme. And he knows that. I brought a resolution here.
What's the point of order?
Is that, are you rising a point of order?
Deep throat Everard Warmington, sit down. Your throat deep like for Cliff and like for Mayor Ben Nevis. Sit down, deep throat Warming. You always get up and open your deep throat to start. Sit down. Sit down there. Sit down.
Clarification.
No, member. No, member.
You brought a resolution.
Member.
Point of order.
So what?
Point of order.
So what?
Point of order.
Members.
Many people bring
He
resolutions.
mentioned the issue.
Stop. I'm going to turn the mics. All right? I'm asking a question. If you allow me, you will hear. I am asking a question. Remember, you know. All right, I will overrule because he's having a side chat. You may continue.
If you're unsure or unaware of your eyeglass prescription, or if your prescription changes frequently.
No. He said you abandoned it. Yeah. Mr. Speaker, I would ask that you allow me to finish.
No.
Are you now ready to take the point of order? All right. You may.
Mr. Speaker, because you're speaking, not abandon this issue. You mentioned housing scheme that this government
you rise on a
abandoned
point of
those
order. What is the point of order bullshit?
Under the last government, I brought a private member's motion to state that the moment the first title is issued, they did not. Mr. Speaker, it's on the other paper now.
Hero is
that once
deep throat hero.
it's on the other paper now that government takes over.
That's not a point of order.
That they abandoned when I brought it here, and it's back on the other paper. Look here, I sent back on the band about to England.
You heard that in
You
heard that in our parliament once again, Jamaica. A racist, bigoted attack on the leader of the opposition from the government side. That Everard Warmington, who regularly, continuously, with his racial and bigoted slurs against the opposition leader, has done it in your parliament again. With the JLP caucus or the Prime Minister refusing to do anything about it. Rather, Babsy Grange and the rapist arm Bobby Montague told us it's time for us to have a race, culture, ethnicity, and debate conversation in Jamaica. But when that very behavior is being used in front of all of them, they cheer along gladly. This government, this very government that is coming back to the people for a third term, a government who've lost control of its own benches. Let them continue.
Continue your presentation.
Talk about the people them over there. If you want to start the argument, talk about the people them over there.
Mr. Speaker, I know discussions about resolutions brought here and neither here nor there. The reality is that Jamaica has a proliferation of schemes that were developed by private developers where the roads are in limbo. And you can't shirk responsibilities as a government by saying, oh, that's the way it is. It's the duty of the government to fix the system if the system is flawed. The fact that you're very bad at fixing systems is no excuse. And it's that failure is replicated in many different areas in terms of how the state interfaces with the population, where there are all sorts of inefficiencies which people suffer from daily and need to be corrected, and you're very poor at correcting it. But the point about this is climate change is not the excuse. It's not an excuse that can absolve you from responsibility for your stewardship of the road network over the last 9 years. Highways have been built. Highways were built by many governments. The North Coast Highway was built by the PNP. The East-West Highway was built by the PNP. The North-South Highway was built by the PNP. So we're not, and you built some roads too, but the road network, despite the increase in fiscal space, which has been the legacy of the successful execution of the IMF program under the PNP administration of Portia Simpson Miller, after the Bruce Golding administration collapsed the program and couldn't cross it and had to give up on it, couldn't pass any test. We took it over and we set the groundwork. We did the heavy lifting. That is why the tax system was fixed by a proliferation of tax legislation and administrative changes, which have borne great fruit, where the revenue has increased year.
Member, if you notice your mic is off. I am saying to you, you were given 5 minutes to respond. You have used your 5 minutes. I am going.
No, I'm not using 5 minutes. Everett Warming can take up a lot of it.
You were, by the bylaws, you have 5 minutes to respond it. You have used up your 5 minutes. I am going to give you another minute to wrap up and not more.
Thank you for the additional minute, Mr. Speaker. The point of the matter is this. Despite the growth in fiscal space, which is a result of the reforms and the successful execution of the IMF program under the Portia Simpson Miller administration, which has yielded a great legacy to this country, you have not used those resources on the road network. You have used it on a proliferation of other things. And to say that climate change is responsible for all of the potholes in the country is absolute nonsense. And the people don't believe it, and they don't accept it, and you're going to pay the consequences of it politically in the months to come.
The $90 trillion financial revolution you can't afford to ignore. A $90 trillion
Can you believe? Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, the member from St. Andrews South, the leader of the opposition,
Carlos Wagwan,
suggested that there was a fiscal arrangement in place that was sufficient to maintain the roads. He suggested that there was a road maintenance fund. Mr. Speaker.
Members, the Prime Minister is on his feet and he would like to relay some information. Please.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The member accurately pointed out.
Why couldn't Heroy done that when Mark Golden was speaking? When I say the bullshit of them, when I go down JLP, there's no doubt about that. The country will reject the criminality, the lies, and the stealing of Andrew Holness's regime. Lead thief, city puss Prime Minister, the criminal who bringing whole family into the loot of the Jamaica purse. You're a disgraceful thief, Prime Minister. You are a disgraceful thief.
That there was established a road maintenance fund. The idea behind the road maintenance fund is that there would be a dedicated tax that would go into this fund, and that this fund would be used to maintain roads. Mr. Speaker, I believe that the source of the taxation for this fund was a special consumption tax on petrol. On petrol, my recollection. The road maintenance fund. Mr. Speaker, whoa. Mr. Speaker,
He might plan the lies and go along.
Maintenance fund existed for a few years, and undoubtedly there were some roads that were repaired. In fact, there was an administration set up where requests had to be made to that administration for which roads would be repaired. Mr. Speaker, in 2015, the then government decided that they would use a portion, in fact, a significant portion, of this dedicated tax that would go to the road maintenance fund to pay for an oil edge. Mr. Speaker.
Prime Minister is in the House. A specific tax was imposed for the oil hedge arrangement. A specific special consumption tax was imposed to finance the purchase of the oil hedge. That program was embarked on, and then when the government changed shortly afterwards, this new government kept the tax but didn't keep the hedge in place. So there's been no protection of the public from the increase in oil prices, which was the purpose of the hedge. That is a reality.
Developed by University College London, this latest blood glucose monitor eliminates the need.
Prime Minister.
Let's hear the bullshit right now from the Prime Minister. Hey, Jesus.
Just to be clear, Mr. Speaker, they increased the SCT, which should have gone into the road maintenance fund,
look on
and the increase was diverted into the edge. Just to be clear, I am not incorrect, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I am not incorrect. Then, Mr. Speaker, the leader of the opposition can, in his own conscience, accept if he is incorrect or not. Now, Mr. Speaker, it is always from a good fiscal management point of view, and I keep using this word fiscal, from the proper management of tax revenues, that you do not earmark revenues. Mr. Speaker, earmarking of revenues
fiscal secretary
don't lead to a good outcome. What this administration did, Mr. Speaker, was to abandon the road maintenance fund. Because when you set up an earmark fund, you take a certain percentage of that to manage the fund. You have to pay staff, you have to pay administration. A large part of that fund gets eaten out in terms of just management and administration.
No, but what about you?
The other problem is, Mr. Speaker, is that the funds generated from the special tax was never in.
You better we take with money, sir. Pay out in an administrative fee, and to Jamaicans, at least Jamaicans would not get a salary out of it, your dull piece of bullshit. The Jamaica people would not earn out of it. Rather than you, your boomer, your picking, your pooper and your sister, thief it and your friend Norman Brown and your constituents, put it in a property development, put it in a 28 bank account where you can't give an account for to the fact we feed and TAJ investigate you. Which one would that make more sense? Drunkro? Make the cancro continue to dig him grave.
Enough in the first place. In other words, even with the existence of a road maintenance fund, Jamaica's road in 2015, 2014, 2013, and 2011 were in no better condition than they were today.
Jesus Christ Almighty, God is
the same protest.
Jesus keeps me near the cross. Right at the foot. Where a precious fountain. Andrew. Hey, Jesus. So are you saying then the PNP should declare we RoadWay as a national emergency and them never do it? Because Prime Minister, if our roads are in no better condition now than it was in those years that you have just mentioned, given that, Prime Minister, for 9 good years, you have done nothing. You even have cut the road maintenance fund. That which you're slipping and dibbling and dancing by ice, me hope something slip down your throat like down for Mayor Ben Nevis, Cliff, and Hira Clark and Chopper John. How is it that it take you 9 years to declare the road a national emergency? How come? When did you find out that climate change and God and the PNP mash up the road, and you spent 9 years and the road was in that very condition it is in now before you come in and you take 9 years to declare it as an emergency? You're a bullshitter. You are a bullshitter, Prime Minister. You're trying to be good at it, but you keep going off the script writing. That tells me, Prime Minister, you're not concentrating. Because at time you'd be keeping to the script right. Then other time you just go off into this whole utopian bullshit. Continue digging your grave. Dig that backside, because we're willing to push you off in there, you know. You dig it, we will push you off, then maul you up. Continue dig. Damn fool.
That existed about bad roads existed then, that existed now. The truth is, Mr. Speaker, that the road maintenance fund had no impact. What makes the impact, Mr. Speaker? What makes the impact? What makes the impact is not more tax from a good fiscal management point of view, and I keep using this word fiscal, from the proper management of tax revenues, that you do not earmark revenues. Mr. Speaker, earmarking of revenues don't lead to a good outcome. What this administration did, Mr. Speaker, was to abandon the road maintenance fund. Because when you set up an earmark fund, you take a certain percentage of that to manage the fund. You have to pay staff, you have to pay administration. A large part of that fund gets eaten out in terms of just management and administration. The other problem is, Mr. Speaker, is that the funds generated from this special tax was never enough in the first place. In other words, even with the existence of a road maintenance fund, Jamaica's road in 2015, 2014, 2013, and 2011 were in no better condition than they were today. The same protests that existed about bad roads existed then, that existed now. The truth is, Mr. Speaker, that the road maintenance fund had no impact. What makes the impact, Mr. Speaker? What makes...
We've never had pothole droning nobody under any other government. We've never had pothole droning nobody under no other government.
The impact. What makes the impact is not more taxes that you dedicate to a particular cause. What makes an impact is more revenues for which you can properly allocate. That government, Mr. Speaker, all they know to do is to tax, 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 tax. This government, Mr. Speaker, this government generates revenues so that we don't have to tax. It is the revenues, Mr. Speaker, and I want to... Robert, where's the point? The revenues.
Hey!
Mr. Speaker,
you must search through the apron.
I want to be clear, Mr. Speaker, that if you were to compare the allocations for this government over our 9 years, prorated to their 4.5 years in their last administration, we have spent far more on road maintenance, road construction, road repair. I also want to make a point. The leader of the opposition can seek to appeal.
Prime Minister, I have to do this for journalism. And at the moment, I'm very dizzy because you have taken me around in a lot of circles since I've been sitting here, Prime Minister. If I was standing, I would have fallen over, you know. So I can imagine what the audience is going through. But bear with, audience. Bear with. I'm live now. I'll call you back after. Bear with, audience. Bear with, because we have to listen to this man. You understand? Dizzy as we be.
To a base understanding of the challenges. Yes, government must just fix the road, whether it's rain cause it or a breakaway or whatever. Fix the road. We accept that. Fix the roads. And that is what we have been doing. But to fix the roads, Mr. Speaker, you must understand why the roads are in the state they are. And Mr. Speaker, you cannot ignore that we had the highest level of rainfall in the last 30 years.
In gone back to God again.
That is not something to ignore. It is a reality. We have had more rains now than we have had on average in the last 30 years.
Can't even turn up here now.
So you can't just dismiss that as if to say that had no impact on the roads. Obviously. That's the same administration, the same opposition, who just stood up and said that they are happy that the government is taking climate change seriously because it is having an impact on our economy and our infrastructure. And then now to stand up and say, no, it's not having any impact. You can't have it both ways. You can't flip-flop. You can't on one way say climate change is having an impact and then turn around and say, no, it's not having an impact. You can't flip-flop. Come on. Then now, Mr. Speaker, highest level of hypocrisy. Mr. Speaker, the member from St. Andrew South mentioned that there are many roads built by developers and the government should just take it over. I have been in this parliament now for 27 years.
You've been stealing for 27 years as well.
27 years.
You've been stealing for 27 years of looting and shooting, Prime Minister.
West St. Catherine.
27
but I,
years
like
looting
that
and
member,
shooting to a...
brought a resolution to this house when I was in the opposition. Because I had a housing scheme, I have a housing scheme in my constituency, Bay Farm Villas, where several, just like the member from Western. And those roads, Mr. Speaker, were not taken over. And I share the sentiment that the government should take over those roads. And I brought a resolution here. It was debated. And the response from the debate, I'm sure you could search answered, and there was a thorough explanation. It is not that the government doesn't want to take over these roads, but there is a process. A developer could build a road and the road is not built to standard. Should the government just take over the road that is not built to standard? There's a process. The truth is, member, that the process, agreed, that that process should have been enforced both by the local government.
The question is there regulation that private developer building roads must comply with, Prime Minister? That's the question.
And by the end of the day, how do we start to take over that process? How do we actually start to take over these orphan roads, as I have debated here? So first of all, you have to go and properly document these roads. You have to properly measure them, work out the state that they are in, whether or not they were built to standard, what would be required to bring them up to standard. And Mr. Speaker, that is what this administration has done. No other administration has gone to do that thorough accounting of all roads that we have. This administration has started that process. So from 27 years ago, we've been talking about it since I've been in the Parliament, and certainly from before. No other administration has started a process to do it. This administration has started the process to do it. And Mr. Speaker, under the Spark program, there will be some roads, orphan roads, particularly those that now form critical infrastructure, critical connecting corridors, that will be addressed. Mr. Speaker, I take the opportunity because the leader of the opposition, I'm sure other members here in Kingston and St. Andrew will appreciate that there are some roads, for example, in Newport West.
Mr. Prime Minister, you have to speak in the mic for Hansard, so use it both.
Thank you, Mr. Well, one of them isn't. Yes, okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So there are orphan roads in industrial estates.
Hey, stick with me for 5 minutes. I'll show you how to replace your entire teaching salary teaching online just a few hours a week with guaranteed results.
Like Newport West, where those roads are neither owned by the parish council or the NWA, but they are critical infrastructure. That's where quite a bit of our containers and port operations take place. So the government is now obviously in negotiations with the owners of that space to have a kind of joint funding as to how we fix those roads. So it is not that there is no effort, Mr. Speaker, in fixing orphan roads.
We invested money in identifying. I represent both residential and business interests on Lady Musgrave, which is one of the roads slated to be dualized and expanded. The residents have spent, and the business interests have spent a lot of time and resources in developing what I would consider an alternative to what the government is proposing. They want the development, but they want something which is more sustainable, which is less concrete, which is more green, not your green, but more environmentally friendly, right? Let me go again, because this is a serious point, because they have been frustrated by the lack of response from the government. They have invested money in identifying consultants to come here to look at the space. The Lady Musgrave now I'm speaking about, because their concern is that the dualization, similar to what took place in Barbican Road, does not solve the traffic problem. It actually moves the problem further down. So you widen, it's quicker to get through 4 ways, but when you come back to 2, you have a bottleneck. So they have spent time and resources, they have engaged experts in looking at an alternative, which would have walkways, which would have trees, and they have spent the better part of 2 years.
We're going to stop so far this morning with the bullshittery, because I'm sure a lot of it has been said. The most important bits of it you have heard for yourself.
Ball out! Whoa, yo.
We need help, Jesus. Jamaica need help. Shift the parliament. Shift the election. Shift everything. Remove them out there. Take out the cockroach. Take out the thief. Take out the criminal them. Take out the thief them. Take out the murderer them. Take out the gang leader them. Out of parliament. Take them out from Portland. Take them out. I hear Portland. Me I go to Portland. Why me I travel to Portland? Take out somebody. Ball out. Whoa, yo, yo, yo. We need help, Jesus. Jamaica need help. Shift the parliament. Shift the election. Shift everything. Remove them out there. Take out the cockroach. Take out the thief. Take out the criminal them. Take out the thief them. Take out the murderer them. Take out the gang leader them. Out of parliament. Take them out from Portland. Take them out. I hear Portland. Me I go to Portland. Why me I travel to Portland? Take out somebody.
Ball out. Deep throat Mayor Ben Nevis. Are you still in hospital, Mayor? Is there any update on you, Mayor? Because Upka Fitzhenley, we want more information. We don't have a way of telling we piece a story for other people come finish it, then on not tell we say we are propagandists and news carrier. We want to know how and why the mayor got chopped. And by whom the mayor got chopped. We want to know why the mayor refused to report it to the police. We also want to know why the mayor discharged himself from the hospital. I want to stop you with a piece of story. We love a good sauce. If it's one thing with us as Jamaicans, deep throat mayor. It looks like we're going to have a deep throat competition now, because when we did think Everard Warmington, Cliff Throat and Cliff Hughes and Chopper John are here at Clark Throat Deep. Here comes a mayor, rock and come in. Let me show them so we can all take chop, mayor. You like are a bunch of disgrace. You, the Jamaica Labour Party, on a need to hide on yourself. Because the whole of the thing them want to walk and scandalize people about, or fall down in the same thing. Want to run around and say, Finsack, look on the debacle where Andrew in a $3 trillion worth of it. This government who have signed the Samoa Agreement to legalize transgenderism led by Vegas. This Jamaica Labour Party is a swirling disgrace to the country. Because when them now walk and sell way out, them a loot and shoot out our public budget. And Holness is confused. The poor old sod is confused. Because in shift blaming and decide not to even take any blame for himself, him blame act of God, him blame nature, him blame the PMP. I am still waiting for Andrew to blame with car tire and with foot bottom. Not even the car tire, can blame the car tire them so we have heavier vehicle and we have more vehicle. So him blame on a car tire. It looks like it's only our foot bottom spear, this blame game of the Prime Minister. It looks like only with foot bottom escape the blame game of this Prime Minister, who is unwilling and unable to take responsibility for his failure, his blunder, his lack of. Look at when the Prime Minister was trying to explain the road maintenance fund. Him still not done explain it yet, you know. Mark Golding have to finish it for him, and him still turn up back and try, but has not gotten anywhere in just swirl comfortably. Agency, veteran, Amai, Wagwan. The Prime Minister just swirled comfortably to something else. This man is a thief and a liar. And I'm confident that the nation will not continue with this type of treachery and criminality from this government. Enough of your Andrew Holness. Yeah, your fish tank. Because tank no growing, I know, and I think say a sea uno come from. A fish tank uno growing. Yeah, your fish tank like Nevis, Chopper, John Cliff, Vegas, and the all of them, Everard, Warmington, Darrell Vaz, Shanique, and the cut dirt and cry to water. Hey, them people are fool, you know. And teachers say you can't cut dirt. And went to Galilee and pick up the water from under Jesus' slippers, or whoever walked on the Peter, or whoever walked on the Sea of Galilee. Me don't know the liar story. And Anvaz pick up the water from under the slippers. Oh, what Jesus, but me don't know about Galilee. Only Bible people know this story. But whatever about Galilee, and was so mesmerized when he pick up the water, the same water where Jesus interact with. Michelle Lewis Wilson, how you do? That same and who make we know say, you can cut dirt with scissors. Yes, and them wanna vote for. That's why East and West Portland is forgotten about. That's why them rob and rape East Portland. And the people have not benefited. And the entire Jamaica can say the same thing. But me I go about my business, the labor right them nyam up themselves over TikTok this man. They just nyam up themselves. So I hope not bite on the finger. I hope the labor right them bite them finger when them are type. Because them know say them finger and their conscience not the same thing, but then just shame to admit the truth. So then elect a failure, them elect a thief, them elect a dunce, them elect a liar. Anyway, my people, Andrew Holness have me dizzy in the backside because them merry-go-round of lies that the Prime Minister hit us with this man. But as me say, media have to have it on record because the Prime Minister control PBCJ. And just like when Cliff Hughes did declare say PNP win the local government election, and Andrew Holness said to him, cut that backside and go to your bed, and Cliff have to go in bed. Me not able Andrew got turn off PBCJ and we don't have access to it. So before they take it down, we want to have it on record. Yeah. So thank you all very much for the painstaking watching of the regular bullshitting of our Prime Minister. Thank you and good morning, good afternoon from the Global Television Group. And if you don't hear anything about the mayor and his chops, just let us know. Good morning.
If you don't like missing out on the latest shows but still enjoy classic hits, then Global TV Group 358 is your perfect match. Global TV Group 358 isn't just another channel, it's your ultimate TV experience. From breaking news to binge-worthy dramas and timeless classics, we've got it all. Our unique blend of original content and global favorites means there's something for everyone. And guess what? With GTVG's seamless streaming, you can watch anywhere, anytime. Plus, our interactive features let you be part of the action. So, whether you're a seasoned binge watcher or a casual viewer, Global TV Group 358 is here to keep you entertained day and night. Don't just watch TV, experience it with Global TV Group 358. Subscribe now and never miss a moment.